Backstage Sports Show. My name is JT Harker.
I'm Joe Connor.
And we're on with my boy, a dude I haven't seen for a long time, huge Chicago sports fan, and also a local high school football legend.
Yeah.
And also the creator and owner of the 7%er clothing brand, my dude, Boss Haas.
Man, what up, fellas, man? Thanks for having me on, man. I'm so excited, man.
Absolutely. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, but we were kind of like, we've got all these people, and we're like, dude, at some point, I got to get Boss on.
Yeah.
Bro, I appreciate it, man. You know, sports, I don't say my specialty, man, but that's my background, you know what I mean? I played sports my whole life, so anytime I get a chance to talk sports, I'm all for it.
I love
Thanks
it.
for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, Joe, I told you a little bit, but how I know Boss is, you know, before I got into country music, I mean, I was always into country music, but when I was like writing like pop and hip hop stuff and whatever, the team I was working with had met Boss, and you were assistant to Steve Lobel at the time, right? You were mentoring under Steve Lobel.
Yes, man, that was huge, man. He took a liking to me like right away. He's from the East Coast. I'm from Chicago, so I think he just liked my swag. I don't know, man. I was hooping at his house. I got invited over to go hoop at his house, and next thing you know, he's invited me over again and again and again. And then next thing you know, he's taking me to events and teaching me the game, bro. Like just the game.
And for those of us that don't know kind of his track record, Steve Lobel is known for a lot of managing and what else?
Yeah, he's honestly, man, one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. Honestly,
We working.
He is literally, that's his monogram. We working, and he lives by it, swears by it. I mean, he's nonstop. That man. He's always on the hustle. He is the ultimate plug. He likes to connect the dots. He likes to teach. He likes to teach, and he likes to give back. I'm extremely thankful, man, for picking his brain and just running with him for all those years. And yeah, it was an honor, bro. I learned so much from the cat, and that's honestly how I met Stevie Dub too.
Steve Dub. So tell me, Boss, because like we've known each other for a while, and we were talking yesterday, catching up about how when we met, how hard we were going with what we were doing, which at the time was very close. You were managing artists, you were managing Stevie Dub, and we were in the same game, and we were kind of all working together as like a extended teams of each other. But what's your background, kind of how we met, and as far as like business and what you got going on, what you've done in the music and entertainment industry? Let's start there, and we'll talk a little bit about 7%.
Yeah, man. I mean, I started, you know, back in like 2009. My brother Kwam came to me and was like, man, I rap. He had just came back from college, and he was playing football, and he was like, yo, I rap. And I'm like, oh, let me listen, let me hear it. I actually fell in love with it. You know what I mean? You know how your family.
It's said that that's the first thing. This because we in the age of everybody's an artist, everybody's a rapper.
Especially everybody's a rapper.
First thing it's funny because me and my fiance was watching. I think it was this show called Family or Fiance. It comes on OWN.
Yeah.
And the first thing one of the guys said was the groom was kind of talking about what he does and what he's trying to do. And he said, you know, I'm a rapper and a producer. We were like,
that
we
was
didn't even give him a chance.
That was my response, bro. That was I was like, we were playing Madden.
Yeah.
I could tell he was like nervous to ask me or just talk to me about it. So he's like, yo, I rap. And I was like, well, let me hear it. And I was like, yo, this is actually pretty good. And you know, out here in LA, you know someone, you know people that are connected.
Right.
This and that. So I connected with a cat that I grew up with in Glendale, and he was managing Earth, Wind, and Fire's. He was the road manager. So I literally called him. I was like, hey, man, let me just take you out for lunch and pick your brain. I got an idea. I want to kind of get in the music industry. My brother, Kwam, is a rapper, da-da-da. And this was right when Michael Jackson died. And he told me, he's like, look, I love your ideas, and I normally don't do this, but I want to hire you. I don't hire friends, but I want to hire you to come to Japan with me. We're putting on a Michael Jackson tribute show in Japan. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? I don't know if I can cuss on here, but you know, I was like, what the hell am I doing out in Japan? I didn't know my role.
You can't fucking cuss on our show.
Oh, yeah. I was good, because I want to cuss shit. So anyway, so we go to Japan. Fast forward, man. I mean, I ended up killing it out there. I ended up being like the whole road manager, building some connects. The main producer of the show loved me. he hired me again to build another show back in Japan. Did that. I started my own entertainment company called Boss Haas Entertainment. I wanted to be a one-stop shop, manage you, produce you. I opened up my own home studio. I can shoot your videos. I can shoot photos. I can put you on tour. I can, promote you. I was investing in our own shows. I did a Nipsey Hussle show, like before Nipsey got real, real big, paid Nipsey $3,500 and had my brother Kwame open up for him. I saw Nipsey pull up in a damn Chevy Astro van. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy, just from where we started. And then it just, I meeting Steve Lobel, linking up with him, going to events after events, and then started my own clothing line, and that was something that really took off, unexpectedly.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit. So I was in the room when you came up with the name 7%er, you, me, Stevie Dub, and my girl, Jessica Heartbreak Anderson. Tell us kind of the concept behind it, and then just a short version of your journey since then.
Yeah, man. I had Boss Haas Entertainment, and I always wanted to inspire people, man, but I wanted a clothing line, but I didn't want it to say Boss Haas Entertainment. I didn't want it to be tied to me. I didn't want my name in it. I wanted it to be universal. And I've always interested in how many millionaires and billionaires there are out in the world. So I started Googling and researching. 7 is my favorite number. And the number was always debatable, 5, 6, 3% billionaires. So I'm like, man, how can I flip it to where it's like an inspirational thing to become a billionaire or become a millionaire? And that's how I started. And then it kind of manifested into, well, what about the people that are going after a dream? What about the people that are going after a hustle? What about the people fighting cancer? What about the people fighting for civil rights and this and that and equal opportunities and women and this? I was like, what about the 7% of like, right. That's the number, 7% of the people in the world that really are getting after it. Right. And I thought about it, man, for like a year, bro. Like I was so nervous and scared. I'll never forget that night when we talked about it. Cause I think that night we were just talking about music in general, just Stevie Dub, you, Heartbreak, how we can grow as a group. And then I think I tabled it. I was like, look, let me pitch this to you guys at the end. And I brought up 7%er, and then the response that you guys had was amazing. And then we got the design made up, put it on Stevie Dub. He performed in front of like 2,000 people. And then shit just kind of like took off like right away.
And you guys were throwing fashion shows, being a part of fashion shows. Dub was performing. You were getting it on artists. I noticed that you've had the guys from Next, which is one of my favorite groups from the 90s, rocking the gear. And Too Close is still my jam if I'm in the club. You know what I mean?
Genuine posted it. Genuine had it on and was singing with it on.
Oh, Genuine's the dude.
Bro. Like, so many cats, bro, showing love.
You know, we play Pony at our shows.
No, you don't.
We play Pony. We play Pony. What do we do, Joe? We mash it up with Pony. Let's Get It On.
Yeah.
And Thinking Out Loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mash it all together. It's dope.
I gotta hear that, man.
It's dope.
I gotta hear that mix up. Yeah, so it's been great, bro. Like, I'm not even a fashion guy, bro. I'm real simple when it comes to clothing, but I just know how to like bring people together in the club and doing the fashion shows and the rooftop events and marketing that. That's my specialty, hosting and getting people together. The fashion side of it, like the material and all that, I don't know shit about that. I just know how to create a movement of, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, what I've always loved about it is it's really an extension of you because you're, as positive as any person. I've never known you. I've never talked to you and been like, man, I'm feeling kind of down. Like you're always up. You're always motivated. And for people that don't know, you have a real career too that takes up a ton of your time, and you're married. And somehow I would still see you late at night when we're working and I know you're getting up 5, 6 o'clock the next morning. You just got that energy and the hustle it takes, but you also do it with a positive vibe, which not everybody does. And that's what 7%er is, man. It's supposed to be inspirational.
It is. And that's what I love about when people see the logo and 7%er applies that you're a part of something. You are part of a group, that group of people that are going after something and inspiring others. I get it from my mama, man. God rest her soul. She passed away last year. And she didn't see color. She loved people. I love people. I'm a people person. I'm a hugger. I just love people, and I want to inspire people. When I die, when you come to my funeral and I'm in my my casket or whatever. I want you to walk by my casket and like, man, like Steve really tried. He really tried to help the world and make people smile, and in his own little way, he tried to make the world a better place in my own little way, even if it was just for a fraction of a moment. Right. At least I tried. You know what I mean?
Love it. Well, let's get into you're on because I know you're a big sports fan. You're a big Chicago sports fan.
Yes,
but
sir.
Let's get into talking about a team that if you're not a fan of their team, everybody else hates them. Let's talk about the Cowboys a little bit.
Yeah.
Joe, what we got?
So basically, what happened was Dak Prescott has been back and forth with the Cowboys over this contract negotiation thing for the past. It feels like since the pandemic hit, right? Since probably like early March, we've been hearing this back and forth stuff from him. And
really before that, because they were holding out on him. He was pissed about it, right?
Yeah, there was a whole thing. So recently we heard that he turned down $175 million offer from them. So basically it would be 35 annually, just north of 106 million guaranteed, which tallies to 5 years, 175 million.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently
wouldn't
that make him the highest paid QB in the league?
Yes, it would. So apparently he's been asking for $45 million a year in the 5-year deal. So 45 million annually over 5 years. I think this is completely
sounds like a 7%er to me, man.
Hey,
what percentage really goes for it, bro?
I'm all for getting your money, you know what I mean? But you don't want to build that salty relationship at the same time. I mean, you see the Dallas Cowboys, bro. You see what they did in bringing Andy Dalton.
Right.
So they're like, hey, man, like, Dak, you want to trip out? Andy, come learn this playbook.
Right.
Come, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's almost like he's saying, look, I've been waiting, and you brought in this other dude to kind of scare me a little bit. Yeah. You're either going to pay me or somebody else will pay me. Even if I get a little less than what you're offering me, like, I'll be out. Either I want out. Basically, without saying it, he's just saying I want to be out or I want to get paid to be here.
Yeah, I don't get it at this because I was very pro Dak in the beginning of this.
Me too.
Whole thing, I was like, pay him. And I'm an Eagles fan, so that's.
I'm still pro Dak. I'm still pro Dak. I just think it's ballsy. I'm still pro Dak, but it's.
I'm born and bred from Philly. I'm an Eagles fan, and I was very much like, pay Dak his money. He deserves that much, right? And so to hear how this story has been developing, and there's more layers coming on, and they offered him a contract before the season was even out. He denied that one. And so I was like, okay, like, bet on yourself, try to get more out of it. But at this point, they're like, they're trying to make you the highest paid quarterback in the league. And that's not good enough. Now you want 40 to 45 million a year. I mean, I just don't, I don't get, especially.
Doesn't that feel like that to you that means he either one doesn't want to be there or wants to be paid?
Like it's something up. Yeah.
Right?
No,
he doesn't want to be there.
Wants to be there. I think he wants to be there. I think he sees his value higher than what everyone else sees his value.
He definitely does.
Truth be told, value ain't 45 million a year.
Truth be told, once he signs that contract, Patrick Mahomes' contract's gonna trump his in a heartbeat.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes gonna really
of course.
The standard.
Whoever the next guy up is normally the top guy.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I'll tell you what I would do as Jerry Jones. It's not an easy decision, and he is a good quarterback, but he wants more money than making more than the highest paid QB in the league, and he is at best the 10th best QB in the league.
Yeah. Right.
At best.
Right.
I let him go. I say I'm not doing it. I just stand pat. I just tried to make you the highest paid QB in the league.
And he doesn't want the 5th year, so he wants 4 years. I think 4 years, 45 million. So
I personally, I don't think he really. I'm not saying he doesn't want to be there. I'm just saying he does not mind leaving.
Right.
Like it's not like I don't want to go anywhere else. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Like no one wants to leave the Cowboys, but
Jerry Jones just paid Amari Cooper So he's salty about that. He's salty that Zeke got paid.
Zeke got
he's salty
paid,
about that. He's salty that linebacker got paid.
Yeah.
And your quarterback is the last person to get paid. So he's sitting at home like, I'm not working out with y'all. I'm the last person to get paid, and I'm the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Y'all, no, man. I need to get my money. I need to get my money.
And he was there. And he was there before those other guys.
Yeah, he was.
Like, it's not. He's not just the quarterback. He was also there before. The whole Zeke thing was a big deal because it's like, I was here first, and I'm your quarterback.
Right.
And I'm your quarterback.
Like, this dude could be done next year and never really be the same again. I'm your quarterback that's supposed to carry you into the future.
And he didn't make anything. He made $400,000, I think, his first year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what happened here, and look, whatever Jerry Jones wants, he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants to do. But if you did want Dak, you fucked yourself. You shouldn't have waited to pay him fourth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you don't, then I guess it's working out.
They definitely brought this on themselves because this didn't have to. This, even though I get it, they tried to sign him before we got to this point. But I think if they would have signed him even before Jared Goff got paid and all, because now he's looking at these other guys and he's like, well, I want $10 more million than he's got.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, if he's referencing the Jared Goff contract, what are you going to say? Like, he should make more money than Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? Point.
I think he's looking around too, going like, okay, worst case scenario doesn't work out, and there's some teams that I think are better than the Cowboys, and if I go to them, it's a better situation.
Yeah, I think with this whole pandemic and him not working out and practicing and him kind of having a salty attitude, as soon as he steps back into the locker room, I have a feeling there's going to be some tension.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's going to be weird, I think.
I think so, especially with Andy Dalton be there.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have some sort of way about him. Like, Andy Dalton's going to come in like, look, I have a golden opportunity to steal this job away from him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, man, they just
because we know I don't know how good Andy is, but I know he's better than he played in Cincinnati because when you're 100%. Playing for a bad team, a bad organization, he's probably like, oh, I get a real line, I get a real organization, I get some talent other than AJ Green.
Andy's no scrub, bro. Andy's not a scrub.
We've seen him play. I think he was a Pro Bowler a couple times. We've seen him play at a high enough level that if he's got talent around him, it'll work out.
Yeah, I think Andy Dalton has been dealt a pretty bad hand, and I think coming into this offense, we're going to see a better side of Andy Dalton. I think it's real easy to bag on Andy Dalton just because of his name and what he's done in the organization. They haven't won anything. He hasn't done much, you know.
Right.
But when you look at that Cowboys roster, it's like I'm looking at it like, well, I could get y'all 8 games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So,
with that running back, the receiving core, the defense, like he can manage. He's been in every offense. He's seen every defense. He's gonna be just fine, bro. Yeah. If he gets a chance to start, he might not give up the spot.
Yeah.
Hey, boss, would you be okay if your Bears offered him $175 million?
Bro, man,
you'll take anything. You'll take it.
Y'all better be okay with that.
Oh, bro. Yeah. Oh, man. It's been so hard being a Bears fan. I mean, I'm diehard, bro. I mean, you can see the helmets.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the figurines in the back, bro. I mean, I love Chicago Bears. I honestly am rooting for Mitch Trubisky this year. I'm glad they brought in some competition. I have a feeling that Nick Foles will beat him out. I just don't think Mitch has the mental like ability to really bust ass and get through a season and really dominate it. I just don't think he has it, man. I hope he does. I hope he can find it.
Y'all just got to be careful with Nick Foles because I'm gonna tell you, Nick Foles is Nick Foles is the quintessential side chick, like the 70-30. Yeah. Like you can have a lot of fun with Nick Foles, but she can't cook. She's not gonna clean anything. Your family is not gonna like her. Like leave Nick Foles where he is. He's gonna be good in spells to come in, but I think people's mistake is marrying Nick Foles, and then when you marry him, you screwed because Nick Foles is not a 16-game starter.
Nick Foles is Fitz magic without the magic, so he's just Fitz, and Fitz isn't very good.
Look, I think the Bears are playing like, look, we're gonna put a Band-Aid on this season. We're gonna try our ass off. We're gonna give every opportunity for these quarterbacks to succeed. If we can get some Fitz magic with Nick Foles and get to the playoffs and maybe get to Super Bowl.
If you can make it to the playoffs without him like having to start half your season, you might be all right. You might win a Super Bowl like we did.
It's been proven.
Right. I think the Bears still next year address the quarterback early on. We get back in the first round next year. We have more draft picks, more capital. I think, look, we'll go through this year. We didn't draft a quarterback. We got Mitch. We got Nick. We'll go through that. Next year, we'll draft our franchise quarterback and move on. That's what I think is going to happen. We just, we have a solid squad, bro. Like, we really do, in my opinion, we really do. Our defense is nasty. Our receivers need a little help. Running backs our O-line is the worst part of our team, though, bro. Yeah. Our O-line is Pop-Tart soft. Yeah. They're terrible. But
hey, Boss, you're a Chicago fan, so you said you're a White Sox fan, and you also give the Cubs love too. But is the Chicago love because you have family from Chicago originally?
I'm from Chicago. Like I was born there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was born there.
You moved out here before high school?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Moved out here, and we were on the south side of Chicago. But I didn't grow up I knew the baseball teams, but I didn't know that the White Sox were the south side team and the Cubs were the north side team. To me, my mind is like, I'm just rooting for anything Chicago. Right. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of grew up.
Frank Thomas, man. I love Frank Thomas.
Yeah. I got his little figurine up there. I got
the Big Hurt up there. Man, yeah, I got Frank Thomas rookie cards in storage right now.
Man, dude, you sitting on some money.
Right.
God, hopefully they used to be worth some money.
Yeah.
You're sitting on some bread, but
we played out there though. You been to Wrigleyville?
No.
We played, right damn near across the street from where the Cubs play. We played the Old Crow out there. Yeah, it was dope. It was freezing cold, but it was dope. And we played River North
still running up and down the streets, butt ass naked.
Yeah, they were. But Chicago was great, man. We love Chicago, even in 9-degree weather.
Yeah. So let's move to the association. So they're talking about the NBA resuming post this coronavirus break. But there's a bunch of different formats that they're throwing around now to figure out how to jumpstart this season or try to finish the rest of the season. So there's a couple things. They're talking about changes to the playoff format going 1 through 16, which I personally like. They're also somebody proposed, I guess, a meeting of the GMs came a bunch of different proposals, including a World Cup style group stage with 20 teams, eventually building into an 8-team playoff. And so it also seems like they don't have a plan yet for a start date, but it appears that it's more than unlikely that all 30 teams will not return to play for the playoffs, because a lot of teams are griping. A lot of non-playoff teams seem to be griping about the return.
Along with this, I heard something really sad today. It's not sad, but it made me sad. You listen to the show All the Smoke? Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson? I just started listening to it. I love it. But they had Vince Carter on. He was their last guest, or their second to last guest. And he said, well, yeah, if this season's over, that's it for me. I'm done.
Oh,
that made me sad, man, because this was his last season, and he could have finished out. And that's a bummer.
I want people like him to be able to play out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think it sounds like it's not realistic that they will play the remainder of the games, that they're going to have some type of, preliminary randomness of regular season games that then jump into the playoffs. But I do like the 1 through 16 thing.
I do too.
Very interesting.
I do too.
It sounds like a lot of the sports. Baseball is talking about a similar thing. They want to use this shortened season and different season to try some stuff.
Yeah.
And see kind of what works, what doesn't. I think that's a good look. And they're talking about returning to 1 through 16 right to the playoffs. That's one option, right?
Yeah, right to the playoffs, 1 through 16 with a couple. There will be a couple like warm-up games.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one thing that like some of the players are like bitching about. Like I think it was Dame Lillard came out and said, if we're not gonna have a chance to get back in the playoff race, I'm not coming back to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't love the idea of just hopping basically right into the playoffs.
Right. I don't like that either.
It's not, but I mean, it's just you got to deal with what you got too, you know.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right. And I mean,
yeah, but you got the whole summer, right? Like, why not like a month worth of like just regular season games? Because they hop right in, man. It's gonna be sloppy basketball, man.
I would be down with that. Yeah.
It is gonna be so sloppy. It is gonna be sloppy. There's gonna be no fans in the stands. I don't think the players are really gonna be as into it as they are saying. I just think they need like a month of like real basketball, and then hop into the playoffs. In my opinion, you know what I mean?
I think that would be way better. But
yeah, I mean, because look at some of these matchups. If you were to do the 1 through 16 thing, some of the matchups you would get, like you would possibly get the Lakers and Raptors could possibly see each other again before the finals. So that would be, you could have a Lakers Clippers final.
That'd be dope.
Which would be super dope.
That would be dope. Oh my God, that would be awesome.
So the 1 through 16 thing, I'm hoping that they push that through and then possibly keep it, you know, because then we really level the playing field as far as conferences and
true.
And we really trim the fat. Like there are teams that are getting in from the Eastern Conference. Like, you know,
Eastern Conference isn't bad for so long.
Oh my God.
The Orlando Magic, the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, right? Like them, the Brooklyn Nets are the 7th seed, right? If we do 16, like they're not, you know what I'm saying? So we don't deal with those meaningless.
I'll be honest though, I would miss. You know, I'm kind of old-fashioned like that. Like I like the American League, National League for baseball. I would be bummed to see that go. I would be bummed to see that Western Conference, Eastern Conference thing go. But
yeah, but it would only be for the playoff matchups.
I know, but it's still like you go win the East, you go win the West. Yeah. It's just
I think it has to be done like that. Go win your conference, you know, just keep it that way. My thing is like the fan thing, like that just bothers me, man. That there's gonna be no, like, that is just like,
it's
I don't
weird.
say it's like, man, you gotta have the fans. Like this year I bought tickets to go see the Bears play the Buccaneers in Chicago.
Right.
And the Bears play the Rams here in LA. And I'm like, damn, did I just waste money? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, do I get that bread back? Like, are we gonna be able to go? Like,
you would think they'd give it back, right?
I think they would. They have to. They have
to give it back. But I'm holding out. Like, okay, like when do I start asking for it back? Well, it's lucky that football's kind of pushed out far enough to where you can see. You know, basketball is right here, and I feel bad. Like if you're in the NBA Finals and you have no fans there screaming,
that's gonna be super weird.
Boss, this is kind of off topic, but how far ahead, like in your opinion, how far ahead would you put Michael Jordan ahead of LeBron James?
Oh man, and it's funny, bro.
Did you like that segue?
That's a hell of a. I don't know where you was going with that.
Right, like
I don't know what. You know what? I and I tell people this all the time.
Oh,
like, of course, I'm a huge Jordan fan. Like that's my goal.
Chicago, so it doesn't count.
That's like my thing. But I do like LeBron a lot. I do like LeBron. Like I love following him. I think he's amazing.
Let's see. Here we go. He's like, turn up.
Turn that up.
Every time.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to work out every time I hear this music.
Man, if that don't motivate you, I don't know what.
Oh man.
But you know. Like,
so really far ahead is what you're saying.
He's a bro. To me, there's just no comparison. Like to me, LeBron is a different beast. He is a beast, and I'm like I hated Kobe. I hated Kobe. I respected him.
I did too, and
I did for a long time too. Yeah.
His death completely fucked me up.
I think for everybody.
Yeah, because I didn't expect it to affect me the way, like I cried, and I didn't expect it to hit me the way that it did. But Kobe was one of those who had an amazing transformation outside of the game.
Yep.
Where like when he was playing, you know, he wasn't a warm figure to a lot of people.
He wasn't a likable guy. Well, he copied that MJ model. MJ wasn't the most likable guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of at least Kobe became likable later. MJ's kind of still the same dude. You know?
Well, people were comparing Kobe to Jordan all the time, and it bothered me. But what made me fall in love with Kobe was like his when he tore his Achilles and he went and shot free throws on his torn Achilles. And then they did that documentary called The Muse on him.
Yeah.
And I watched his back. I was like, man, this dude, how he was trying to, recover from that and rehab from that and got back. So his last 2 years, you know what? This guy is almost out of the league. I want to appreciate him. Because I'm not going to get to see anyone like him again. And then LeBron's on he's descending. Even though it seems like he can go forever, but he's on the tail end of his career. I want to appreciate that. We're not going to see. Hopefully Zion can come in and kind of get the torch. But LeBron is like, I just respect LeBron for being LeBron. Like, I don't say, oh, he's Jordan. Oh my God. Jordan's Jordan. There's Kobe. There's the Magics. There's the Birds. And then LeBron he is a freak of nature. He's living in a new time, a new era, new medicine, chefs. Jordan, you see Jordan smoking and drinking
before the games and all of that, bro. There was some wild bulls back then, bro.
Come on, dog. You got things you can put on your legs now to massage, masseuse, chiropractors, acupuncture. Like, guys are taking care of them. Look at
Well,
Tom
it's
Brady.
funny. People, some young guys were on Twitter and stuff and all over social media, being like it's an MJ thing that he didn't start lifting weights until like whatever year it was in the league. I'm like, hey, youngsters. I'm like, guys didn't work out back then. They didn't lift weights. It was like some guys did, but it was new. I remember when Evander Holyfield changed the boxing world because he lifted weights. Boxers didn't lift weights, and they're like, power guys. Like, not everybody lifted weight. It was more of a football thing.
Right.
So it was just a different game. But
so we got a Jordan nugget towards the end that I want to get on before we get off on a Jordan tangent like we can very easily do. Very easily do. Speaking, but you mentioned Evander Holyfield. Speaking of boxing, we got some boxing to discuss. Before we do it, I want to show you this video real quick. So that was 53-year-old. Dude. That was 53-year-old Mike Tyson.
That is fucking scary.
It's weird. It's it's like it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so that's 53-year-old Mike crazy. Tyson training, and he's been recently talking about a comeback or eyeing a comeback. Someone, I think it was the Bare Knuckle League, who apparently offered him $20 million to possibly come back and fight. But then Tyson Fury came out and said that something to the effect of he was offered to fight Mike Tyson. Like, somebody came to him and basically said, like, we want to put together a fight between you and Mike Tyson. And Tyson Fury said, I'm down, pretty much. But he said nothing really came of it. But Mike Tyson at 53 versus Tyson Fury. Is that something that we're actually watching?
Well, listen, I'm gonna guarantee you one thing: Tyson would win, one way or another. Tyson would win.
Oh, true.
Tyson.
One of the Tysons will win.
Shoot, man. So Mike
Tyson looks vicious still at 53 on that.
He looks insane. He looks insane.
The punches. I mean, just listening to his mitts hit the.
Yeah. Well,
it's like what
they say, power as for fighters, power is the last thing to go. So you've always got, you guys that saw that Rocky movie where Rocky came back for another fight. Like, you still got the power. It's just a matter of I can even tell just by looking at him, and I watch videos of Mike Tyson all the time from old and new because he trains.
Yeah.
You can just see the stiffness is still there for him. When you look at him when he was younger, the quickness, the speed, everything, the dodging. Now it's like you can tell he's a little bit older. Now, look, outside of boxing, he could still kill with his bare hands 98% of the people on the planet.
Right.
100%.
But in the boxing world, especially when you're talking about a Tyson Fury who just took a guy that people think hits harder than Mike Tyson and is 6'7" or whatever he is, and obviously younger and more athletic and hungrier and all that stuff, and annihilated him. I wouldn't want to see that. I would love to see Mike Tyson fight somebody else, but not the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I gotta see him fight.
I mean, I'll watch it. We're gonna watch it. If it happens, I'm coming to Joe's house and we're watching it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to see it. I mean, especially because the way he's still looking like he's snapping those punches off, like he'll still knock somebody's block off at 50-something years old. And
I think my thing is just the length with some of these guys. You know, I'd like to see him fight one of the smaller guys. Like, I'd like to see him fight what is it, Andy Ruiz?
Yeah,
that'd be dope. A little shorter. You know what I mean? Like, what could he do?
Well, something got him motivated, and I think the money definitely got him motivated. Someone came to him with some big money. And he looks phenomenal. He's in shape because for a long time he wasn't talking about boxing. You couldn't get him to talk about boxing at all.
Hey, I heard his interview on Joe Rogan. He said he was even afraid to train because it gets him all riled up and like the juice is fun in his ego. So he wouldn't even train boxing for years.
Right. Yeah. He looks like a monster. I mean, he looks phenomenal. And he's one of those LeBron athletes, bro. A freak.
Like he's just a freak. Yeah.
He's a freak. Like he's just a freak of nature. At 53 years old, he's a freak. I mean, he looks phenomenal, and I'd pay money to see him box. I love Mike. He's my favorite boxer of all time.
Me too.
I hope he boxes, man. I hope he gets in the ring. I hope he rocks the towel. Comes out with the black or white
black
towel.
Shorts with the black footwear.
No socks.
What?
No socks.
Hardest intro ever, bro. Hardest intro ever.
He was scary, man.
He's scary.
Watching him fight, it was like a national holiday every time he had a fight. Everything shut down. All eyes were on the TV, and everybody, even though they loved it, would be pissed off that they paid all this money for a ticket to see a guy get knocked out in 10 seconds.
Round. Yeah.
But you had to do it.
Yeah.
You had
to do it.
You had to pay all that. That was part of your job as a sports fan. That was your job, is to buy a Mike Tyson fight and be mad after 2 minutes. Like,
I love it.
The thing about this is Tyson Fury said he wants to do it. He said this is a quote from Tyson Fury. He said, "I got a phone call saying, would you like to fight Mike Tyson in an exhibition fight?" I said, hell yeah, but I don't think anything materialized out of it.
Because it's called I want to maximize my money before I retire in 3 years.
Yeah, he's like Tyson Fury is super down to do it. So I think if this gets made, this is going to be like one of the biggest fights ever. And even though one of the fighters is 50 years old. It's crazy. It's just crazy to talk about.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But I'm smiling because I'm like, man, I would just love it.
Yeah.
Like I would love the whole everything, the atmosphere, Mike Tyson, because I think Mike is going to give him a run.
I do too.
See, that's the thing. I think he would get annihilated, and I don't want to see that.
Because this is the thing, right? Deontay Wilder put him down. Deontay Wilder has punching power, right? He put him down in that first fight. He really shouldn't even got up in that first fight. But so he can get Tyson Fury can get caught, right?
He can, yeah.
Mike Tyson, you can't look at that video and tell me Mike Tyson don't still got punching power, right?
Oh, he does. He does. It's just Deontay.
There's always a chance that Deontay catch Tyson Fury and his ass ain't getting up.
Deontay Wilder can throw a punch at me from the door and hit me in the head. That's the problem. Is that
Wilder's a one-trick pony though. He got the right, but he can't hit to the body. Tyson's gonna get to that body and tear those ribs up.
Right.
He's got to get to the body. He's got to get to the body.
True.
That's the thing. People don't realize Mike Tyson's my height. He's 5'10".
Yeah, he's short.
Which is crazy to think about how great he was at 5'10".
But Mike got some shots in
you know
on
what I mean?
Mike's last fight. I think was it Lennox Lewis, who
it might have been.
Lennox Lewis is 6'6" or something like that.
Yeah, and Lennox destroyed him.
But I'm saying if he can, he's fought long fighters before.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
So if he can get in there, there's always a chance. He's literally the definition of a puncher's chance. Like,
hey man,
that's Mike Tyson. Like,
so you're saying there's a chance?
You're saying there's a chance. With Mike Tyson, is a chance.
And I love Mike Tyson
all day long.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll give him a run. I really do.
Yeah. That'll be really fun to see.
Would you want to see him fight Evander?
No, I think Evander's. I saw his little training video. He looked slow.
Yeah, Evander's old.
He just retired like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he looked
forever.
He looked bad, and I won't say bad, but he just looked like real methodical. Like, he didn't look like Mike Tyson.
Caught up to him. Yeah.
He probably looks like how Chuck Liddell looked before that fight he did with Tito Ortiz, just old and broken down.
Yeah. I mean, if they do the fight, of course I'm gonna watch it. But I think Evander.
And dude, how many years does the guy have? You know, he's only got so many years. It's like he's not. Should he fight Mike again? He's gonna lose all the ears.
Yeah. Okay, so we touched a little bit on Jordan a little while ago. I want to get out on this Jordan topic right here, right? So a little bit into The Last Dance, the idea of him and Isiah Thomas, the idea of him claiming that he didn't by himself keep Isiah Thomas off the Dream Team. We talked about it on here. I said he did it. Like it was him. I don't give like. I heard what he said on the Last Dance. I said I'm convinced like it was him, right?
Man, there was something that came out today. I think today or yesterday that they had a audio recording of him talking about I don't want Isiah on the team.
That's exactly what we're gonna listen to right now. Okay.
They called me to ask me to play. Rob told me, call see Rob. I love to play with Isiah Thomas on the team. He assured me, he said, you know what? Chuck doesn't want Isiah. So Isiah not gonna be a part of the team.
What did he say?
So there in the audio, he's saying they called me and asked me that I want to play on the team, and I said if Isiah Thomas is on the team, I don't want to play on the team.
Okay. And
so that's basically him, basically admitting like I told them not to put Isiah Thomas on the team. Right.
Good.
So
fuck that guy.
This is him red-handed being caught in a live from The Last Dance, basically saying, "Well, it wasn't me. I didn't say his name." Like, you know what I'm saying? When we all knew that he was the guy.
I think like this. Chuck, even in that interview, that audio you just played, he even said Chuck Daly didn't even want him on the team, and that was his coach.
Yeah,
that was his coach.
Really?
I just think no one in the league liked Isiah. He was an asshole. No one liked him. So they were like,
that's
look,
so crazy.
If Michael Jordan's the big guy, like, look, we got Barcelona coming up. We're building a dream team. Everyone's following Mike's lead. They're going to follow his lead. And so, like, nah, man, I don't like the motherfucker. I don't want him on the team. I don't like
Larry Bird hated him too.
Yeah, they all hated him.
Yeah.
Maybe
dude,
he beat him too. That's why I said, you know, early on we were talking about The Last Dance.
He beat him, but it was the way
he didn't get the respect that he deserves.
Well, that's true.
He's the guy who beat all of the greats. Like he got his pound of flesh from all of the greats, which is the reason why they didn't really.
Well, they respect him as a player, as a point guard. They just don't respect him as a person. They don't. They just don't like him.
I think you can beat somebody and still hate the guy too. Because I just think I think what it was, and same thing with Lambeer. Even more so, Rodman's crazy. Obviously, the other guys, they were all dirty, but Lambeer and Isiah were above and beyond. And I think what it was, and dude, the funniest story. So many stories have come out since The Last Dance about even other players. And I never read the Bird Lambeer story about how they hate, or how Bird hates Lambeer. And dude, you got to look it up, guys. It's some of the funniest shit you'll ever read. Like Lambeer, they were both all-stars. So Lambeer would see me and be like, "Hey, Larry, what's up?" And he'd be like, "Fuck you, Bill." Like literally that would be the conversation. And one year he wasn't on the all-star team. Lambeer didn't make the all-star team. And they're like, "How do you?" Someone was joking around with Bird, and he was like, "Man, are you sad that Lambeer's not here to be on the All-Star team with you on the Eastern Conference All-Star team?" He's like, "No, because it saves a lot of trouble of him saying hi and me telling him to go fuck himself."
Man, but there was some real rivals back then. So they hated each other. That's like real shit.
But I think the thing with Bill and Isiah was they were really trying to hurt you. And there's even people verbal accounts saying they're trying to hurt them to get them out of a game. And I just think that's where it's like
they didn't like the Pistons in general because they was
I think those two guys who were the ringleaders of the whole thing, I just think they just were above and beyond everything, and that's why people didn't like. Obviously, I mean, what other reason why? Like you don't just not like you don't like them because they're dirty. I
think that with Isiah, it was a little salt in the wound because of the fact that he he beat some of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well that doesn't help.
I think that
But Jordan, but look, Jordan beat him, and he, he was competitive. I think it's untold stories in that league that they're not going to share. Obviously, I think there's things that Isiah did and said behind the scenes that they just cannot say. They're living up to a code. Like we just can't say it. I just think like, look, he is an asshole. Like he is like a legit asshole behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and we just don't want that energy around.
Yeah,
us.
and that showed even in retirement. As a coach, he was an asshole.
Yeah,
people wanted to fight. People wanted to fight him when he was a coach. Players wanted to fight him. You know what I mean? Like he was. That's just who he is. But like also, he beat the guy. But it's not like they didn't beat him. They didn't beat him. Like their Bulls or their Pistons was the Celtics. They couldn't get by the Celtics until they did, and they also lost to the Lakers.
Yeah,
you know, in championship years. So it was like
he still should have been on the team. I think I don't like the move to keep him off the team because he was one of those. He was one of the greats of that era, and I think they had a lot of beefs with each other. You know what I'm saying? But they still.
Yeah, but nothing like that though.
Yeah,
nothing. There was no.
But they still had beef. They still had. They were like, for the Olympics, you suck it up and you go and you ball because this guy's one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah, but I don't know of any of those guys. I don't know of literally any of those guys having like beef. I know that they were competing, but like that's beef. The other guys,
they all had
there was
beef.
No.
They all, especially with that type of play, like they all had beef. That's why that was my other gripe with this fantasy that like everybody just completely hated each other. Like they had beef, but they also played golf together. Magic and Isiah kissed each other before finals games. Like
some of the guys.
They had banana boat
some
cruise.
Of the guys.
They had the same banana boat cruise that happened then. It was happening back then. It was just all you know what I'm saying. It just wasn't social media era. Like they had beef. They just got over it. You know what I'm saying? It was bad. They left it on the court like men. A lot of
it wasn't as prevalent though. But it's for people to say, oh, nobody was friends. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, they was friends. They was friends. All of them was friends. And it's funny because when you hear them talk about playing on that dream team, they all say that it was one of the best experiences of their life because they were playing with the greatest players in NBA history. But a lot of them also said they became friends because the reality is a lot of them don't know each other that well. You know what I mean? A lot of them became friends on.
They got closer, and I think they all knew Isiah Thomas's dynamic.
Yeah,
and none of them,
and none of them liked Isiah.
None of them, man. Like they didn't like him, and they didn't want that chemistry. Imagine being out there for 2 months and having that one little dude that's got a short man complex or some shit, and then he just, running his mouth, and they don't like him. Like, man, I knew we shouldn't have brought his ass. Like, I knew we shouldn't have brought him. He's fucking up everything.
And for that team, I know it's about having the best guys, but there were other guys. There were other guys that were arguably better too. Like, it was funny. Well, that's for sure. But and actually, this is a real question. I don't know. I always wondered why Hakeem wasn't on that team, and I know isn't he originally from Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But he played on the next dream team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played. I don't know if he got dual citizenship or changed citizenship, but he was on that next dream team, which I actually didn't even know because I didn't really pay attention to that second dream team. But Hakeem was on it, so I don't know why he couldn't have been on the first one because Hakeem Olajuwon definitely deserved. He was one of the best players.
It might have been the Africa thing, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been.
Because I love Chris Mullin. I'm a Warriors fan. Blue and gold, true. But there were other guys you could have put on that team justifiably and kept like a Chris Mullin off and maybe one or two of the other guys too.
To me, it's not more other than Magic Johnson. You couldn't name me another point guard that should have been on that team.
Not a point guard, but I'm just saying other players definitely like Dominique Wilkins might have been older, but Dominique was one of the best players in the league too.
Yeah.
But about fit too, John Stockton fit the team better because he's pass first, whereas Isiah is a scorer. But at the end of the day, he fucked himself because when almost the entire team doesn't want you on the team.
I think it was Jordan. Like how LeBron picks his all-star team, I think it was Jordan behind the scenes. Who do you want, Jordan?
It was Jordan. That's what I think too.
Do you guys know the story too about Jordan's first his rookie season on the all-star team with Isiah? You could look it up. Isiah froze them out so that no one would pass him the ball. You know that?
Oh, they all did that. It wasn't just Isiah. I remember hearing about that.
No, the story. No, the story is that Isiah put it all together. Don't pass him the ball because he didn't like Jordan. So it's deeper than just a few things and losing. You know what I mean?
It's deeper, but that definitely wasn't solely Isiah, because I remember hearing one of the other guys from that team saying, we just decided, like, we're not – he's the little rookie hot shot, and we're not going to pass him the ball.
Yeah,
it was like a collective thing. I mean, it was like a hazing thing. But, I mean, yeah, Jordan, if you smiled at him wrong, he said, I'm going to score 40 on you next game. That was just his thing. So
some of these memes are so good.
Yeah, like that was just his thing. Like the whole made up thing about how the guy walked past him off court and said, what was it? He said that the guy said something and he completely made it up.
There was a rookie and he said that he said good game, Mike.
Good game, yeah. Good game, Mike.
I never said that. Like,
which even if he did, doesn't even mean anything.
Say thank you.
Well, what is it? What is it, that one meme? I sent it to Joe. Boss, you seen this meme where anybody to Jordan. Good luck, Mike. And what is it? What was it?
The next line was like, okay, it was personal then.
Yeah. And then Jordan, that made it personal. I went for 75 next game.
Bro, what? Come on, man. Like,
hey, but you know what though? Like, he's been doing it for that long. He's at that level. Like, he used any and everything to motivate himself to get up in the morning and piss him off. Like, I know, like, when I was playing football or whatever, basketball, if I was mad, I played better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I had like a little chip on my shoulder,
opposite. I'm not. I have to be level-headed and clear. Like, and it's funny because that's how LeBron is, right? Like, you'll see Lance Steven is blowing in his eye or blowing in his ear or whatever, and you just see he has this trans face on, and it's funny because we talk about how they're different players. Like, LeBron is completely the opposite. Like, LeBron he has to be, because he said when he played mad in that first series, or when he was the enemy, like the Heatles, with where it's the enemy of the league, and he had to come back with a completely different mindset. Like, the villain shit wasn't working for me. Like, I can't play like that.
Yeah, that's the thing though. I don't even think it's that it made MJ mad. It was just motivation, because he didn't really play mad. He just, I mean, shit. If you look at him in every situation, he's calm as hell. The great ones are always calm. They might get upset as motivation, but in the under the bright lights and the moments, all of them are calm.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's what
looks
fuel.
mad to me.
Something to get him going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
something to trigger him.
Yeah, there's one more meme I read yesterday, and Jordan's like, "Do you see what that dude just said to me? I'm going for 60 on that fool." And then Phil Jackson goes, "Michael, this is a movie set, and that's Daffy Duck."
But it's great to see the inside and what made that man tick. You know what I mean?
It was
awesome. I loved it. I treated it like a must watch. I didn't plan nothing for that day. Nothing on Sundays. I had to sit down with my beer and just watch that damn thing, man. I was glued to it. I loved it. I thought it was well done. It was just it's great to see people that never got to witness Michael Jordan witness why he is considered the greatest of all time, and the inside and the backstories of him. And I mean, damn, the man went to go play baseball, comes back and wins 3 championships. Come on, dog. Like,
there's some stuff I had forgotten, and some stuff I didn't even know about baseball. I had heard that he was actually starting to turn the corner and play well, but I didn't realize, what did they say in The Last Dance, that normally any baseball player, no matter how good you are, if you're coming in as a first-year pro, you go to single A, and you because anything else is too advanced. You can't go straight to the majors out of college or high school, whatever. You have to see pitching along the way.
Yeah.
But they couldn't put him in Double A, so they had to put him right in Triple A.
Yeah, because the stadiums they couldn't fit the media request.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
It was too much. The state couldn't hold them.
That's insane. The dude hasn't played since like freshman year or 8th grade, and he's going strrait to AAA baseball.
Yeah,
at 31 years old,
I didn't know that.
He's playing decently. I mean, that's unbelievable.
And what was it, Francona, who was his coach, who ended up winning World Series with the Red Sox, great coach. He said that I didn't realize he ended up hitting over 200. Which there are guys that have been playing for years that were on his team that weren't hitting 200.
Yeah, bro. He's a freak of nature, man.
200.
Yeah.
But they said that same thing though. That work ethic. That like he was there before everybody else. He was there, and he was there after everybody else.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It can't. People like him. They carry it into everything. You know what I'm saying? Even in being a owner GM, like he's not the success. The end result isn't the same, but the process is still the same. Like I'm sure he takes that same thing to them, even though they don't win anything.
They don't win anything.
No, they don't win anything.
But it's gonna be interesting to see how the rest of his tenure as an owner and GM plays out in the league, especially with all of this, the Last Dance coming out and everything. It's like there's almost like a reignited mystique of Jordan now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's as if he needed it. It's
right.
more now.
It's so crazy because I just lost my train of thought. But first of all, what just made me lose my train of thought is that he was worried about things hurting him, like his image.
Yeah.
But his brand, I guess his stock just went up. His brand just shot up, which.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I guess just the awareness and stuff. Yeah. Oh, what I was gonna say was that we'll never see anything like it again, because even if a player comes along, if most people decide that Bron starts passing him, or somebody else comes along and is like considered the greatest ever, we're never going to see anything like that, because now there's social media. We're going to see so much more, and like you won't see this mystique around some of these guys anymore. The mystery.
Yeah. And Jordan, that's one thing I respect about Jordan. He's like a mythical figure. You know what I mean? Like seeing him come out in this documentary, he doesn't do interviews. He doesn't talk about all that stuff. LeBron is everywhere. LeBron's social media everywhere. So you're kind of, he's touchable. You can almost go out in LA and actually touch LeBron if you see him.
Yeah, MJ Jordan was like Michael Jackson. He was like that.
Like Jordan is like, you just like, is he real? Like he's a real person. Like the only way you see him is if you actually are at a game or you're just at a golf course or some shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's a mythical figure, and that's what I love about him. And I'm actually scared to meet him, even though he's my favorite player. I just don't want him to be an asshole to me. You know what I mean?
Right, because people have multiple experience of like meeting one of their favorite celebrity or artist, and they're a complete dick, and then you're like, man, it just ruined my whole.
Yeah, they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, I'm scared to meet him. I'm so scared to meet him.
Either one of you guys ever see MJ in person when he played for the Bulls?
I never saw him.
My dad brought me to a game when he came to Oakland. And this was like the Run TMC years. This was Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway. It was Don Nelson was the coach, so it was all offense, no defense pretty much.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan, he was probably like a third or fourth year guy. So he was Air Jordan, the whole thing. And my dad brought me to a game because he knew I loved Jordan. But this was before he had really advanced and before he'd gone to the finals and won a chip. So they lose to the Warriors. And my dad was like that old white dude that was like, he's a hot dog. He'll never win a championship. He's not a winner. He's a scorer. All he cares about is himself. All this stuff, right? And sorry, Pops. And then by the end of his, it was like with Kobe with me. By the end of his career, he was the biggest Jordan fan there was. He's the greatest. There's never been anybody like it. We've never seen anything. All right, Dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny because that's something that I want to make a point to do when I'm a father. Like you. Like to what you said, even with the debate of the Jordan and LeBron debate, right? Like you want to make sure that you take advantage of these individuals while they give them their roses while they're right. Because that's one thing that I always appreciate when I see every now and then we see a lot of hateful tweets and back and forth, but every now and then you see somebody that comes out and says we need to just give Brian his due. Like we need to just give whatever his due,
100%.
And I think that one of the things that is precious is that like you got to see Mike up. I wanted to make sure when I moved to LA, the minute I found out, that LeBron was coming, I'm like, I want to make sure that I see him in person.
Yep.
I'm saying at least once in my life, because I knew from a very early age, like this is going to be one of the GOATs. This is going to be something that I'm going to be able to tell my kids are going to come along and they're probably not going to get a chance.
Yeah.
LeBron play, So I think that's definitely something that is precious, to make sure that you go see them. Like whoever it is, even if you hate them. I wish I would have went to go see Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like And watching him, I got shook up watching his that last game. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you are really a lover of the sport, you'll appreciate it in the end. Just going to
and that's where I feel like I'm gonna hate when LeBron's gone because I want to watch his game. Like I want to tune in and watch his game.
Right.
Zion is starting to be like that. Like I want to watch Zion play. Kobe was like that. Yeah. Jordan was like that. Yeah. Like what you said, give the roses. Like I told my brothers, like, yo, we gotta go back home to Chicago and see Tom Brady play. Like. I want to, and he's playing.
Yeah, he's another one. He's another one. I'm a Tom Brady hater. Like, but it's like I want to see him play. You know what I'm saying? At least once before he goes, because I know
you gotta respect what he's done.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, the man's 6th round draft pick. You know, skinny little white dude, just winning championships. Like you got. I mean, in any sport, that's like you gotta like, man, that's shit.
You know, it's funny too, because like I'm a little older than Joe. Is Boss, how old are you?
41.
So you're a few years older than me. But like, and I put a post up about this, and I've talked to Joe and a bunch of other people about it with the Kobe thing. And it's similar to Tom Brady, although I never hated Tom Brady because he's from where I'm from. He's from my hometown. A lot of people don't know he went to the same high school as Barry Bonds, but at Junipero Serra High School. But he was, you know, watching him on the sidelines like freak out on his teammates and kind of accuse them sometimes of things that maybe were actually his fault and kind of be a baby. Sometimes when we go like, come on, Tom, don't be a punk. Yeah. And with Kobe, he had that Jordan thing where contested every call, bitched about every call, thought he should get every call, seemed like a baby. And with Kobe, it seemed like he was a spoiled brat because his pops played in the league. Right. He was well-cultured. He didn't grow up poor. Like he was well-to-do. And so it was always like kind of this entitlement thing. But then as a man, as I grow up, I kind of realized, oh, like he's just figuring it out. These guys are just figuring life out outside of, you know, off the field and on the field, off the court and on the court. And it changes your perspective. And that's why I didn't even realize what a Kobe fan I'd become before he passed away. I hadn't even thought about it. I was like, oh, I used to hate Kobe. Yeah, and then all of a sudden I didn't. You know what I mean? Like I loved Kobe because all of a sudden you saw – not the super over-the-top competitor Kobe. You saw just the dude who had made mistakes in front of everybody's face, not on the court, off the court, right? Some big mistakes, but learned from everything. And then became a guy who not only was, you know, is a family guy and made up for the mistakes he made in his you know, marriage and in relationship, whatever, but was also doing amazing things for other people, you know, for women's basketball. And just that's what it's all about. And I remember when Kobe passed away, I'll never forget where I was, and Austin was with me. And over those next few days, it was heartbreaking.
It was a tough week, boy.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And I don't remember the last time, if ever, I cried about a sports figure dying. I don't think I ever have.
I definitely haven't.
Because, you know, obviously before their time, that's a big part of it. But it's heartbreaking, especially being in LA and what he meant to the city and everything. Yeah. But Austin asked me like a few days later, he was playing in his football league, and he's like, you know, like he asked me something about, I was talking about how to play the game in relation to how you live your life type of thing, because I try to use sports to teach him. And I was like, man, I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever wonder, and I can't believe I'm saying this looking at how I used to look at these guys, but if you ever wonder how you should be living your life, you know, in relation to how you play a game, look at Kobe Bryant and look at Tom Brady, how they play football and basketball. And if you can look at that and do that in all aspects of your life, you're never going to lose. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you fail, you get back up, you do everything with everything you got in your body and mind, and you'll be good. But that's what Kobe is to me now.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. So moral of the story is give them their roses while they're here. And that's a nice change of pace from the complete knockdown, drag out Jordan LeBron arguments that we've been having. But I'll get back to telling you guys why LeBron is the GOAT next week. Boss, thank you so much for joining us today. It was amazing having you on.
Man, oh God, I loved it, y'all. I want to take like a screenshot or something so I can post this back.
Yeah.
Hey, can I make an announcement real quick before we get out of here too?
Yeah.
I think we're going to become the official podcast of 7%er.
Oh.
And 7%er, a lot of people know about 7%er already, but they're going to be going in a fitness brand direction, which I think is a great look.
Super dope.
And so we're going to have some 7%er gear we're going to be rocking all the time, and we're going to have 7%er all over everything. So tell everybody where they can find all the social media and all that for 7%er, boss.
Just go right now on Instagram at 7%er, 7%er, all one word, on Instagram. That's mainly where everything is at.
The number 7, right? The number 7.
The number 7%er. Like you said, JT, man, just transitioning it into more of a fitness brand. I grew up playing sports. That's what I know. That's my background. I mean, I love it to death. So I want to transition that into an athletic brand because I know a bunch of athletes that train, that work out with kids, that, coach football, that coach youth leagues. And why not have 7% stickers sponsored on the helmet, something like that. So, kind of like a Jumpman type deal. So I'm super, super excited about it. And I can't wait to get going on it.
The greatest brand ever by the greatest player ever. I totally get what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Thanks so much for coming on. You can catch us at Backstage Sports on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure that you like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you can know when we drop another video.
All the podcast platforms, everywhere.
Yes. Yes. We are also now on everywhere you can get your podcasts and stream: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm Joe Connor 33 on everything.
At JT Harker.
At Boss
guys.
Haas.
And at Boss Hogs, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, boss. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. Look at he got the MJ finger picture. That's dope. That's dope.
Beautiful. With all the rings, all those rings.
Hold on. Let me get a close up, y'all. So y'all can see. So y'all can see the.
I wonder how they got all the rings in one photo.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Look at that. That's dope.
So he a real one. He go back with it. Yeah.
Oh, and D Rose too.
D Rose.
Mike
Yeah.
Ditka.
Yeah.
I love it. You got any sweetness? Any Walter Payton going on up there?
Oh, bro. What are you talking
right
about?
there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that looks dope.
And
I have to
then
get you to arrange mine.
Yeah, I got to start collecting some stuff.
Right. I need some gear.
yeah,
Some
man.
bobbleheads, all of that.
Bobbleheads, the floating helmet.
Oh yeah.
I saw Sammy Sosa. Did you inject steroids into that figurine, the Sammy Sosa
Yeah.
figurine?
Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope too.
Oh wow.
Man, yeah, man. My wife, bro, she gets so mad, but you know what? They should have never gave my ass money. They should have never gave me some money.
They should have never gave us money.
I'm buying all this shit that I wanted as a kid.
That's right.
I love it.
As you should.
That's
As
exactly
you
what
should.
I'm going to do. I'm never getting married because I'm going to have comic book characters and athletes all over my walls.
Oh, man. Mike, Dick Buckus, this is a signed thing by Walter Payton. So I'm a huge Chicago fan, y'all.
Oh,
Love
wow. That's awesome, man.
Love it.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, man. Until next time, this has been the Backstage Sports Podcast. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
All right, y'all.